Today, we're diving into an absolutely incredible story of resilience, reckoning, and ultimately reward. This is the journey behind Maggie's Teashop. So, take a look at this. What you're seeing is a sanctuary, a real oasis in Queens Village, New York, a place built on peace and community. But to truly understand this place, we have to explore the 5-decade-long desert of pain its founder had to cross just to create it. So first, let's step inside Maggie T's. I want you to get a feel for this peaceful world that she built from the ground up. Okay, so imagine walking in. The first thing you notice is the atmosphere. The air is just filled with the scent of peppermint, which is incredibly calming. The whole place is designed to feel like a cozy living room. It's got plush couches, board games like Uno and Dominoes, and there are strict rules. No cursing, and absolutely no drama. This fosters this really unique environment where you might see old men arguing about the Knicks right next to young people sharing their stories. It's become a true community hub. And right at the heart of this sanctuary is Claudia Reid. She's 56, and everyone there just knows her as Boss Lady. She's the matriarch, moving between tables, refilling tea, offering a little bit of quiet wisdom. She is the calm at the center of it all. But here's the thing. This peaceful life, it's brand new for her. And to understand it, we have to ask, what did it take for her to get to this point? The answer? Well, it's a lifetime of pain. And that brings us to what the sources call her wilderness years, a journey through decades of profound hardship. This timeline really gives you a sense of just how relentless her suffering was. I mean, this wasn't just one bad event. It was a constant barrage. It started with horrific childhood abuse in the 70s, then led to these deep feelings of rejection as a teen in the 80s. Then her entire career just gets blown up in the 2000s, and then she's blacklisted for just doing the right thing in the 2010s. It just never stopped. And the story, it doesn't pull any punches about where this all started. When she was just 9 years old, she was assaulted by neighborhood boys, and her own stepbrother directed it. When she told her parents, they called her a liar. On top of that, there were abusive babysitters and just a complete failure of protection from the very people who were supposed to keep her safe. This quote is from her journal, written on prom night in 1985. And it just captures the core wound she carried her whole life, that deep, gnawing feeling of being unchosen. Unchosen by family, by friends, and by the boys she loved from a distance. It's a question that would just haunt her for decades to come. And as if the personal trauma wasn't enough, her professional life was an absolute nightmare. She was wrongly dragged into a massive fraud case and then blacklisted from the entire finance industry. After that, she just kept getting fired, again and again, from a cable company, an alarm company, a bank, and every single time it was for reporting corruption or because someone set her up. And woven through all of this, her own parents were using her identity for their own financial schemes, completely destroying her credit and her reputation. So all of this pain, all of this rejection, it all led her to an absolute breaking point, a period so dark it almost consumed her entirely. By October of 2021, Claudia was 55 years old and living in what's described as a mice-infested hellhole in Glen Oaks, Queens. Her credit was shot, she couldn't drive, and any small job she managed to find ended almost immediately. She had completely, utterly lost hope. And here's something that's so critical to understanding just how desperate she'd become. After years and years of praying to God for help, she felt totally abandoned. So she turned away completely. Instead of prayers, she was burning candles, using tarot cards, whispering spells, just trying to manifest any kind of love or relief from the universe because she felt her faith had totally failed her. And then, right there at her lowest point, when all seemed completely lost, something shifted. A series of what seemed like random events started to come together, and they changed the entire trajectory of her life. It all happened in 3 distinct steps. First, a call comes completely out of the blue. It's a government agency, and they've uncovered decades of identity theft committed by her parents. Second, a bank contacts her about an inheritance from her aunt, Faith, money that was specifically meant for her dream, which she could now finally claim. And third, she took a really powerful step for herself. She legally changed her name to Margaret Reid, or Maggie, shedding the old identity that was tied to so much pain.
Now, that first event alone was completely life-altering. The government awarded her $300,000 in restitution for all the years of fraud her parents had committed against her. All of a sudden, she had capital. She had a real chance. So, with this unbelievable reversal of fortune, Claudia, now Maggie, didn't just rebuild her life. She rebuilt a piece of her community, creating the very sanctuary she had always dreamed of. And this is where you can literally see the transformation. She bought the lot right across from the train station in Queens Village, the very same place filled with check cashing spots and 99-cent stores that had rejected her for jobs, and she tore them down. And in their place, she built Maggie T's Teashop. But the reward wasn't just financial or professional, it was deeply, deeply personal. A 45-year story, one that began with a boy carrying a boombox across the street, was about to find its stunning conclusion.
Rex Steele. He was the unrequited love of her youth, remember? The popular, handsome boombox boy who always saw her as a little sis, but never as someone to choose. Well, decades later, he came back into her life, no longer the legend he once was, but a man humbled by life, who could finally see the woman who had been there all along.
And there, in the tea shop that she built, he knelt down and proposed, not with a flashy diamond, but with a humble 99-cent ring. And he promised to spend the rest of his life earning her love. After a lifetime of feeling unchosen, Claudia said yes. She found what the story calls late love, something that didn't arrive in the bloom of youth, but with the depth and wisdom of age. When you look at the whole picture, her story is just this powerful testament to redemption. Every single moment of pain, every betrayal, every rejection, it all became the foundation for something beautiful. A life defined not by its suffering, but by the peace and community that finally rose from its ashes. And it really leaves us with a powerful question to think about. What does it take to transform a lifetime of personal pain, not just into survival, but into a source of healing for an entire community?